Greetings. Did you know that some fires, be it small or large, are caused by clothing irons? Today I will be demonstrating the proper and sufficient method to using a clothing iron. Following this method can prevent any fires within one's home, and it will save your money from damages. I've only started to get a grip with the iron in recent weeks. Rather, not recent weeks, but rather a couple of times, but I'm still planning to get a grip on it in the future. I will first go over the tools required, then exemplify the modus operandi, and finally display some tips to ensure you do not injure yourself or unintentionally cause damages in your home, or rather a fire. First, I shall commence the process. To start, you must gather the tools you will need. Going to the appliance section in a hardware store is a good way to start collecting your materials. A cordless iron is commendable, but for my sake and for yours, I will use a corded iron. A stable ironing board is required, as well as a cover that you can find or you can make yourself. Still water, I find, is also a necessity. Next is the clothing iron you will iron. The article of clothing. My article of clothing? The shirt made from both polyester and cotton. So therefore I have set my iron to the cotton section. With the implements gathered, we can begin the method to properly iron. Now then, let's proceed. Before you begin your ironing, I suggest you fill it's rather required that you fill the tank in the iron up to the fill line. After that, you plug in the iron and wait for it to heat up, and while doing so, you can lay out your piece of clothing to however you see fit. I'm leaving the iron unplugged to prevent myself from getting injured, as this is a demonstration. When you feel the iron is heated enough, like hovering your hand over it to make sure you don't get injured by yourself, you may begin. How I will begin is starting at the torso area. We're going over to stretching out the material as I go further. Making sure that I go widespread method to prevent the cloth from getting burnt in a singular area. Some people like to go for the sleeves, but sleeves as I will do here. However, I will go over the torso area first, get that out of the way, even though it will get wrinkled again, and I can smooth them out again. If this were a real demonstration with the iron plugged in, I would press the steamer button to get it heated and make it a much more pliable, or something like that. That's where I heard it. Once that's done, once the general area is done, you can go over to the sleeve. Please making a crease as I go along. My crease, folding your cloth along the general seam of the torso, and smoothing it out. If you see that there's little to no wrinkles, you should be finished. As I have demonstrated the method, I will go over the tips that you can use to prevent fires or damages. If you feel your arm gets tired and you need to take a break, leave the iron right side up to prevent any damages to any adjacent objects or your clothing, as it can start a fire. Checking the tags on your clothing is one way to determine what setting you need to use for the iron. As mine was made of cotton, I was on the cotton setting. Also, if you're done ironing, make sure to unplug it to ensure that you don't, and please do not leave it like this. It will and can cause a damage outlet. Today, I have demonstrated the proper and sufficient method to using a clothing iron. I have given the tools that were necessary. I have exemplified the modus operandi, and I gave tips to ensure that you do not injure yourself unintentionally or cause damages either way. By using these methods, I can assure you that you can use the iron, whatever iron you so choose, to prevent yourself from getting any injuries, and you can use it without any difficulties and smooth out your clothes more often. So, thank you.